Hi everyone, you're tuning to Lit Careers Igniting Futures podcast, and this is episode 1. I'm Rorisang Mohakabe. So, a small introduction about myself. I'm a grad student from the UK, so I'm doing global communications with USC and London School of Economics. And so today we have a very, very, very special guest, Liliana Aide Monge. I hope I pronounced that right. So she's the CEO and co-founder of Sabio, one of premier online coding bootcamps in the country. As an entrepreneur and tech leader, Liliana is helping students and professionals launch their careers in the tech industry while changing how the tech industry looks. So before we get started, I just want to give you a friendly reminder that we have a careers virtual fair on July 16th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So if you'd like to register, go to litcollegetalk.com for more information. And of course, registration is free. So go there for students and job seekers. So get into our interview. Liliana, so what is Sabio? LA's number one bootcamp and online coding bootcamp in the US.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Rory. Super excited to be here. And congratulations on this inaugural podcast. I hope it is a fantastic success with all your future guests. Regarding Sabio, we are a tech-enabled coding bootcamp, which means that we are the blend of perfect instruction, time that you get with senior awesome software engineers to teach you how to become a fantastic web developer yourself, but it's tech enabled, which means that we use a lot of proprietary tools to help you in the learning process and to help you become that professional software engineer, which is very much in demand globally, which I'm sure you can attest to that being the case also in England.
Yeah, no, very much so. I mean, with the COVID-19 pandemic, we've seen how everything shifted from a being in person working to a virtual fair. I mean, virtual online space. So yeah, we're living in a tech world right now. So thank you very much for contributing to this sort of progression. I have another question. So how we've seen it with the Black Lives Matter movement, especially in the tech industry, where we see predominantly of these big tech companies are white. So being a Latina entrepreneur, can you tell us about your story and co-founder Gregorio?
Yeah, Gregorio and I started this program approximately 7 years ago. We were located in Southern California, and we really wanted to make sure that people who lived in LA County had the opportunity to secure the skills that we knew were very much in demand. So if we were going to be a place-based solution, that meant that we have to serve that community. And as everybody knows, Los Angeles is exceptionally diverse. And so we wanted to make sure that we were speaking to women, that we were helping more, African Americans, more Latinos, Filipinos, Asian Pacific Islanders, military veterans. These are, demographic groups that are very important, not just to LA, but to the entire country. As you know, the country is becoming younger and more diverse. We are now the new majority, or we will be, I think, in 2040. And so it's very important that everyone in this economy has the skills that are needed to drive the economy forward. Mm-hmm. So that's definitely, we had a social justice component when we started, and it's always informed what we do. So we're really excited that it's been successful as well, that we can train any person who's smart and who's motivated to become a successful software engineer. And we can help them break into this tech industry, which desperately needs diverse talent.
Very, very much so. Coming back to your point of Latinos becoming the majority in 2040. So as a Latina entrepreneur, Sabio is diversifying the tech talent pipeline. So as a entrepreneur, why does that matter so much? Because as I've mentioned before, the tech industry is very Caucasian. So to you as a Latino entrepreneur, why does diversifying the racial talent pipeline matter so much to Sabio?
Yeah, so it's two, I think of it in two different ways. There's obviously the social justice component, right? Becoming a software engineer is very lucrative. You can have very high paying, sustainable jobs that are safe, right? I mean, right now we're recording this in the time of the pandemic, the COVID pandemic. And, Latinos and African Americans are disproportionately being infected with COVID and dying from COVID because they are considered the essential workers, right? They're out there in the front lines, feeding us all, driving us around in buses, subways. And so those professions are very important, but it can't be so disparate in that, you know, if you're born in a Latino community, oh, you're going to be a bus driver. Like, that's unacceptable, right? If you are born in any zip code, you should have the opportunity to be a bus driver or be a software engineer, right? Like, your zip code that you're born into should not determine your future. So there's that economic social justice component. And then on the other side, if you simply think about, let's take a company like Facebook. They are a global behemoth. They're based in San Francisco, right? They're based in Silicon Valley. But the technology that's being written in Silicon Valley is used by 3 billion people across the world. And so if you think about that, that's insane. Facebook has a moral and a business imperative to be diverse, because as they're pumping up products and features for the entire globe, those features cannot only be built out by white men who are, 22 graduating from Stanford. Like, that just creates a technological dystopia nobody wants to live in. And we are seeing some issues with that now. So it's both components, right? Two pieces of the puzzle. There's a social justice component from the people who are, living in different communities. They need access to all kinds of different opportunities. But then on the other side, companies that hire diverse talent will be better poised to serve a global audience, and that creates economic opportunity for everybody. So it can be a very much win-win situation.
Very much so. Like, it's funny you mentioned Facebook and like the backfall they're getting back from like these advertisers, because I think like 1,000 advertisers have like pulled their advertising streams from their platforms. So like, it just goes to show how important the tech company is in terms of like representation, especially like in the moment that we're living in with the Black Lives Matter movement, COVID-19, people become like more socially conscious. So like a tech company as big as Facebook needs to account for this sort of like influence it has on the global world.
Exactly. Or, these companies are very dynamic. At one point in time, you would see that a company like IBM, could have a storied 100-year plus history. The question is, will Facebook be that type of an organization? If they don't really regulate themselves and really respond to those 3 billion users and be responsive to what they need in an ethical and moral fashion, and you need a diverse cultural lens in order to address those issues. At one point in time, Facebook was getting a lot of pushback from the conservative movement, right? Republicans, people who were conservative, they're like, hey, you guys aren't really giving us a fair shot. How is your algorithm being built? And I think in that regard, Facebook did take some of that feedback and made some modifications, although they probably didn't necessarily will admit to that. But I feel like they have listened in that regard. So then they have to also be open to making other kinds of changes to continue to make the platform relevant. Otherwise, people just you don't have to log into Facebook, right? That's not a requirement. It's not like water or food or anything like that. So you have to, as a business, you have to stay competitive. And I believe that if you have a diverse workforce, it will help you be competitive.
Very much so. Yeah, no, like, it's funny how like Facebook has gone from like being this sort of like liberatory factor, because like, in the Arab Springs, like, it had like democratized the countries over there, but like now we're seeing in the States like it's being like used for like insidious purposes. So yeah, I mean, like, it's crazy how like Facebook has transformed from like this sort of like libertarian factor into like an oppressive element. But like, moving on to my next question, like, it's no secret that like the tech industry has like very assured jobs, because like, as I said to you before, the world is moving in like a digital motion. So like, my question is like, it's no secret that like these tech jobs are like recession proof. So like, these are like the best paid jobs, regardless of the economic climate. There'll always be in demand. So like, could you like expand on that for our audience members that like are wondering whether or not to go into the tech industry?
Yeah, so if you do some research, basic, what is it, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, just basic generic information, you can always see that software engineers, web developers, computer engineers, they have like a 1 to 2% unemployment rate, right? And that's been the case probably for the past 20 years and will be the case probably for the next, 20 to 50 years. So tech jobs are definitely a lot more recession proof. You can do this work from anywhere in the globe as long as you have access to good Wi-Fi and a good machine, a good laptop. And there are lots and lots and lots of opportunity. In November, the Wall Street Journal indicated that the United States had 918,000 open computer-related jobs. That's insane. That's close to 1 million jobs. And we had always said that there were going to be 1 million jobs open by 2020. And we basically hit that right on the mark.
So like, as we've seen, like in the current pandemic, like tech industry is like becoming like more lucrative. I think like Jeff Bezos has like increased his wealth. So like, judging by this fact, it's no secret that like the jobs in the tech industry are recession proof. So could you like expand on that to like give more information to students as to why this like industry is so lucrative, like so recession proof as well?
Yes, great point. Being a software developer is definitely recession proof because we live our lives online, right? So we connect with our friends using our software. We entertain ourselves using software. We feed ourselves using software, right? So when we live our lives on software, software becomes very important and very popular. And the other thing is that there's a lot of customization that happens. And customization and software are created by people who are software developers. So that's how you can kind of think of the whole, this entire economic paradigm is that when a society is living online, the people who are creating those online properties are going to prosper. So that is why companies like Amazon are so lucrative. It's because it's not only where you can go ahead and find your food, find your clothing, you can also entertain yourself using Amazon. And so that's why companies who can be tech enabled are a lot more powerful. They hire a lot more people and they can pay much better wages than if you think of a company just like Walmart. They're great. They can get you, your toilet paper if you need it and an e-commerce solution, but they don't have all the other tech-enabled platforms like entertainment and all the other fun stuff that would make them as lucrative as an Amazon. So definitely software engineering is recession-proof. You can look at the Bureau for Labor Statistics. You will see that software engineers always have about half the unemployment rate of whatever the general population has.
Okay, thank you. It's funny you should mention software development in the States because I really like a quote from here, being a software developer is the #1 job in the United States with the median salary of like $103,000. And I'm coming out of being a full-time student, those numbers make my head spin. So hopefully I become a software engineer in the near future.
Yeah, definitely. If you want to get on the road to 6 figures, if you want to make $100,000, if you want to know that's what I'm going to get paid, you definitely want to be a software developer. That's where software developers live, in the 6 figures. If not 200,000, 300,000 if you're working for a FANG company.
My favorite number is 6 figures. So hopefully I'll see 6 figures in my bank account soon.
Gotta learn a code.
Yeah, very, very much so. So my follow-up question, I don't know if you are being following hacktivists like Anonymous have this sort of perception that in order for you to work in the tech industry, you have to be some sort of hacker. And it's these ideas created by mainstream media. Because we've seen especially in the tech industry, if you want to work there, we've seen it's been diversified. So accounting, finance, marketing, recruiting, project management, public relations. So my question to you is do you actually need a tech related degree to work in the tech industry?
No, not at all. What you need to work in the tech industry are skills. And so what happens is that when you go and you apply for a job, they test you on your skills. And if you have the skills, they will be more than happy to hire you. So that is really what you need to do, is you need to go out and get skills so that when you come into a job interview, you can do very well to demonstrate that you have capabilities, technical capabilities, and that you will add value to the team. There are also so many free online resources that can get you started developing those skills, which is really, really exciting.
Okay, so like it's more so about like diversifying your talents and like showcasing them to the employer.
I don't know if that was a question, Rory.
Oh no, it was a question, but like let's move on. Anyway, so you know, like Google and Microsoft, like these like massive tech industry companies. So like the share of like US technical companies who are Black or Latino rose by less than a percentage point since 2014, and I'm sure you've contributed to that certain rise. So like despite reportedly pledging millions of dollars to address this issue, like there hasn't been like much parity in this sort of discussion. And like minorities become like still become like a very like pivotal factor. So like my question is like, what needs to be done to ensure that like Black Latinos and like minority ethnic groups are like represented in the tech industry?
There needs to be systemic change by tech companies so that they can diversify their workforce. Tech companies really kind of live and die by their referral network. So if you are Facebook and you have a majority of your workforce that is male, Caucasian, they're going to refer their friends and family who will probably be Caucasian, and most likely their friends will be male. So you have to break that current hiring paradigm, and you have to start collaborating with different types of organizations like coding boot camps, like Sabio, like HBCUs, right? So that you can start expanding and casting a wider net and not relying and not allowing the kind of nepotism that happens, which is like, oh, Rory, you're working at Facebook, now you can refer all your friends. But if I don't work at Facebook, there's just no way that I can get in there. There's no way that I can get people like me because I can't refer them in. So that is one of the big systemic problems with the current hiring process at a lot of the major tech companies. They rely heavily on a referral network, and that needs to change because that is a systemic form of exclusion for people who come from diverse backgrounds and also for women. So that definitely has to change.
Yeah, no, like it's great that you mentioned like the lack of women in the tech industry, because like as a percentage of women employed women across all job sectors in the US grew to 47% in the large tech industry companies like Amazon, Apple, Facebook, Google, and Microsoft. Only 34.4% of that workforce is like is females. So like seeing you being like a wonderful like pioneer for like women in the tech industry, what needs to be done to like establish like a gender parity in the tech industry?
You know, gender parity, same thing. You need to stop with the referral networks, right? And you also have to offer a lot more diverse opportunities in schedules, right? There was a big movement in tech where, you know, you were chained to your desk 24/7. And if you have a family, if you're responsible for kids, that makes it a little bit challenging. So all of those systemic changes are needed in order for more women to participate in this innovation economy.
So like, you know, your bootcamp, we've seen like it's like tailored to like people that are going into the tech industry, but like can anyone like sign up and learn about coding, or is it just like specific to people working in the tech industry?
Yeah, coding boot camps are designed for people who are smart and who are motivated. So you obviously do not need to have background in tech to join a coding boot camp. We have 2 free online classes that will get you started with JavaScript. And that is a fantastic language because JavaScript is a universal language that is used across all web applications. So it's a very strategic and smart thing for you to begin your career in software development with JavaScript. And so we have 2 free classes that people who are interested in dabbling in the industry can begin with.
Okay, sign me up. So like I have like 2 last questions for you, and like I think these will like be like very like indicative to your progression in the tech industry. Like what is your biggest goal, and like what motivates you in the morning?
Yeah, I'm motivated every single morning to wake up and to help our fellows. That means it's not just people who've graduated from the program yesterday, trying to help them get their first job It's also about checking in on fellows that graduated a year, 2, 3, 4 years ago. We want to make sure that our community continues to thrive and grow throughout their entire professional career. So I really wake up every morning to see if I have messages from fellows telling me, hey, Lily, guess what? Today's the day that I'm making 6 figures. Or guess what, Lily, today I'm making 200 grand. Life is good, right? So that is really why I wake up in the morning, is to do everything that I can to provide them with exceptional technical training and also put them in contact with every single technical resource that comes our way. So an example of that is that we recently started a partnership with ServiceNow. ServiceNow is a new tech company. They're growing like mad. They need developers to get certified in their specific software. So on Monday, we're going to start a certification course. So anyone who's graduated the Sabio Coding Bootcamp can then receive free certification through the ServiceNow platform. And so that is going to give people who graduate our program additional technical skills and capabilities that will make them a lot more marketable in the job market. And so that's what Sabio is all about. It's not just about helping people break into the industry. We want people to thrive and have exceptional careers.
Okay, fantastic. Like, it sounds like you're describing me. So like, I'll be signing up to your bootcamp as soon as possible.
Sounds good. You can do it anytime, 2 a.m. in, Timbuktu, doesn't matter. Our free online classes are available, self-paced, any place, anywhere.
Fantastic. No, like, I look to like learn new skills from like your wonderful like programming websites.
Awesome. Look forward to seeing your name come through my desk.
No problem. But like, it won't be Rory. It will be Mr. Handsome. So like, make sure you recognize that.
Okay, thank you for that.
No problem. So Liliana, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciated your presence on this matter of conversation. So like,
Thank you for having me. I wish you guys lots of luck with this podcast.
No problem. Like, I'm sure we'll be seeing like more of you on these like wonderful like podcasts.
Wonderful. Would love to come back.
Fantastic. So like, to our fans, thank you for listening to Lit Careers Igniting Futures podcast. So stay tuned for like more exciting podcasts coming on the way in the next couple of weeks. So like another friendly reminder, don't forget to check out our bootcamp, our online career fairs on July 16th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at litcareers.com. Thank you very much for listening and have a wonderful day.